All right, guys, now let's continue our walk wherever you're walking. Thank goodness that you're outdoors. You're breathing. I hope you're outdoors. You may be like me yesterday. It was pouring rain, so I went over to the gym and I walked around the gym. So the key is to get out and break out of these Zoom rooms and be able to network, but network in a way that you're not locked into time like you are in Zoom rooms or at a certain time and place. So I want you to keep walking, and I'm going to give you a big fat benefit for continue walking with your headset. And if you're not walking, get ready, because we've got some amazing things with the AI Super Campus, because we're doing some amazing things with Oxford University and other major universities. And we're doing podcast walking and podcast listening. The key is getting the right people to listen to the right podcast. And with me now is Ron Horry, as I said, of FinFit Life. And he's got some amazing news, another benefit for podcast walking and learning. So Ron, welcome. And let's talk to people as they're walking along and help them use their imagination. So, use words like visualize this and visualize that. And then we'll put the link so they can connect with you right underneath this YouTube video. So when you get back, or if you want to stop and sit down on your walk and click to talk to Ron, you're going to be able to do that. But the main thing is click right below the video. So Ron, thanks for joining us. And let's talk about podcast listening and walking.
Hey, sounds great, Mike. Thanks for inviting me.
So tell me about FinFit Life. Now, there's some real benefits to walking. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Mike. So FinFit Life, we're all about helping people improve their health. Number one, that's our prime movement. And then number two is build their wealth or preserve your wealth, especially in today's up and down economy, and also have a lifestyle to enjoy both. And so we really want to gamify the idea of moving, especially as simple as walking. So I love the idea of the walking podcast.
Well, let's cut to the chase. Your health is your wealth.
Exactly.
There's no moving van at funerals, so you can't take it with you. So, you've got to really focus on your health, number one. And now focusing on your health will pay off with your wealth as well with FinFit Life. So talk a little bit about the company, what the vision is, because we are visionaries here, and share with us the vision and how people can really benefit from FinFit Life and walking.
Okay, great, Mike. I'll keep it pretty short at a high level. So, you talk about health and wealth. We say that what is wealth if you don't have your health, and what is health if you're financially stressed? So we're the only company that combines health and fitness with financial services. So we want to gamify the idea of being healthy. So we give people rewards for physical activity. It could be as simple as walking. It's like a frequent flyer miles program. So as people walk, go to the gym is even better. They accumulate points. The points translate into rewards. Some of the rewards are gift cards to Amazon, Starbucks, also discounts with Expedia for resort travel. We have a special arrangement with them. People can get a free Fitbit or Apple Watch for $25 to track their activity. That's how we know how much activity they're doing. And then one of the rewards is in the financial services area. We have strategic partners, and one of the rewards is discounts on their life insurance premiums, which could be up to 15% or 25% discount. And if somebody already has protection with life insurance, we definitely want to review their policies. And most people haven't reviewed them in years. And in many cases, we want to make sure that as life goes on, people may have had kids, or maybe their kids are grown. So their needs change. And we want to make sure that they have the adequate amount of protection based on their current lifestyle. So
Ron, go ahead.
So basically, that's a nutshell of what we're doing.
Well, you mentioned something really important, that anxiety and stress is on the rise for a lot of reasons. The election, the economy, AI. Now, AI is really a meteoric rise. And like the dean of Oxford University said, who got his PhD in AI 30 years ago from Cal, we don't really know what's going to happen. There's going to be opportunities. There's going to be jobs that just disappear, and you really have to be ready. So with FinFit Life, you don't have to die to receive rewards and benefits. Am I right? So
exactly. In fact, we call it living benefits.
Talk a little bit about that. Explain that.
Well, I think traditionally most people think of life insurance. Well, here's a good example, my own quick story. I had life insurance. I was paying, probably for 15 years. And the only benefit I knew was when I died, my brother and my sons would get the benefit, the beneficiary, right?
Right.
When I met an agent, she said, Ron, have you heard of living benefits? I said, well, what is that? And she said, well, it's life insurance, but you don't have to die in order to use it. So if somebody has, let's say, gets sick, or maybe they have a stroke, or they can't take care of their daily activities, they can actually accelerate benefits and by taking money out of their policy tax free to take care of illness. It could be long-term care and other types of issues. I said, holy cow, I never heard of this idea. So I switched companies and really realized that here's something that the average person is not aware of. And especially, as the senior population tends to grow, that's one segment that really needs to understand how they can protect themselves without having to pass away.
Now, Ron, you walk, am I right?
Oh, yes, walking is part of my routine. I do kettlebells. That's my favorite indoor exercise. Yes. So I like to live what I teach.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. The benefits of walking are this, is that you are outdoors. You get to go where you want and look at things that you want. Maybe you want to walk through your city. Maybe you want to walk through country trails. Wherever you want to walk, you can walk anywhere and look at the things you want to look at and listen to the things that you want to learn about while you are walking. So that's why we want to really encourage people to think about that. If you're not currently walking, think about that. Think about putting on the headsets, taking your phone, think about the options of what you can learn and listen to. And maybe you're avoiding things like, dealing with your financial situation. Well, if you are out breathing and walking and not feeling stressed and stuck in an office somewhere, that you can actually face things, confront things that you've been wanting to confront in a way that you can breathe. It's not stressful. You can take it wherever you want. And that to me is one of the benefits, not sitting in another long Zoom meeting, but breaking free, breaking out. So look at it as a routine, and we're going to have different programs that you can take with you. Now, the key, two things. I hope you are out walking. If you're not today, maybe you will be tomorrow. So what I'd like you to think about, don't worry about taking notes. Just look below this video when you're done walking, and you're going to have the ability to connect the dots directly to Ron Horry and FinFit Life. So just remember this, aibusinessnetworking.com, and connect the dots below this video, and you'll be able to hook up with Ron and learn more and talk to him. Now, Ron, what's it like when people talk to you directly? How does it kind of start? Is there any fee? Tell me a little bit about that and what people can expect when they talk to you.
Oh, that's an excellent question, Mike. So usually, people may be curious to learn about what we do, how we do it, but our main emphasis is why we do it. So if I have, let's say, a phone call or a Zoom meeting, I call it a get to know each other session. Let's say if I had just met you, or maybe I didn't know you, but you connected with me, you learned what I do. I'd say, well, hey, Mike, tell me about yourself. What kind of exercise or walking routine do you have now? And, I would listen and say, well, in fact, some people say, well, I'd like to walk more, but I'm so busy. I got to take care of the kids. I'm after work. I'm really tired. I say, well, what if you got paid to go walking 15 minutes a day? And they all of a sudden they perk up and they say, well, how do you do that? And so I explain about the rewards points. And then I might transition to saying, depending, let's say if somebody's in their senior, let's say in their 50s or 60s, I might say, well, we want to help you improve your health. We make it a game. And also we combine health and fitness with financial services. So let me ask you, are you concerned at all about your financial situation going forward? So basically, I start the conversation by understanding where they are in terms of their health, encourage them to increase their activity, and then also transition to saying, what are your concerns? We want to help people not only build their wealth, but preserve their wealth, especially, during the pandemic, some people lost 20% in their 401ks or retirement accounts. So I want to, you might say, gently transition the conversation into saying, well, hey, where are you? Do you have any concerns? People might say, oh, I'm really well set up. I have an advisor, whatever. I say, okay, that's great. And then I want to ask and find out if there are any gaps in their protection. As I mentioned, a lot of people have not reviewed their insurance policies for 5, 10, even 20 years. So their protection may be out of date. They may not have what's sufficient. So basically, I like to listen first before I really make any suggestions. Have a very client-centered philosophy and culture. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I know that about you because I've known you for a long time. Ron is a longtime friend of mine. Now, if you were younger, let me talk to you about Ron and myself actually too. Is that if you're younger, you might be straddled with student debt, whatever. I don't know what your situation is at all. But I will tell you this, there's a big difference between knowledge and experience. Now, with experience, here's what happens. You have good experiences and you have bad experiences. Well, as you mature, you are wise enough to eliminate the bad experiences, and that's how you begin to develop wisdom. Now, Ron is at an age where he has a lot of wisdom. He's been through things, and just as I have, we all have at this point in our lives. But what I'd like to say to younger people is that you want to talk to someone with wisdom. Like Ron and I both tend to give fatherly type advice because we've been around, we have kids, you know what I mean? And so we like to think about, for me, it's all about, I have 3 kids. So for me, it's all about being a father and caring that my kids are prepared for the future. You can't live in the past. It's all about the future and being prepared. And to be prepared for the future, you need some wisdom. And, wherever you are, it's free advice. Check in with Ron, get some wisdom advice, some fatherly advice. He'll tell you what to do. One of my mentors, I got to tell you a quick story. And he gave me some advice that I kind of cracked up about. When I worked at NBC, I had tons and tons of mentors, amazing people. Well, one of my favorite, my friend, famous author Herb Gordon, said to me, Mike, I want you to start taking out savings bonds out of your paycheck. And I went, for a smart guy, that's the dumbest advice I ever heard of. Savings bonds, don't pay anything. I mean, very, very little. And he said, look, stupid, this is the relationship we had. You're not going to save anything if you don't have them taken out of your savings bond, out of your paycheck. Well, you know what happened? This was actually 50 years ago. And guess what? I still have those savings bonds and I'm cashing them in because they only collect interest. I just found them. I found them in a drawer
Wow,
after all those
amazing.
years. And I've got now on the face value, they were $25 bonds.
I
But
remember.
yeah, but now they are worth probably $110, but that's not the point. What I'm going to look at, and if anybody has any advice, I'm looking at the collectible market, people who collect coins and things like that. 50-year-old savings bonds. Who knows what they're worth to a collector? So you never know. And it turned out to be some sage advice. Guy I absolutely adore. He's passed now, but I still love him. And so, when you get some sage advice from somebody who's been around and they know what they're doing, like Ron, this is somebody, and I've known him. I cannot give a strong enough testimonial because in the age of AI, you don't know who you're dealing with. There's so many, weekend hucksters and, they're, don't really have experience or wisdom to offer, but Ron does. And so if I were you, I don't care what age you are, if you want some wisdom, and we all need some, in our lives, certainly, talk to Ron and he'll give you some good fatherly advice, some sage advice, and I know it'll do you some good. So continue walking and remember to hook up with Ron. His connection, we're here to help you connect the dots as you walk. So we want you to listen. We want you to pay attention and learn something. While you're walking, we have Dr. Bob Levine, who is an expert at walking and walking health. That's one of our podcasts, Walking. Keep your head up, look down the road, straighten up, because otherwise, if you're bending over while you're walking right into one of those walkers in your old age, and we don't want you to do that. So we want you to walk properly. We want you to listen to sage advice from experts like Ron. Learn as you are walking. And Ron, you've got some additional advice for business networkers that you're going to be sharing with us soon because you're going through an intensive training
Yes,
about business networking follow-up. And you're going to share that with us on another podcast walking episode and
yes, I'm happy
podcast
to do that.
listening. share that with us. Share a little bit about that. Tell us what we can expect in another episode with you.
Well, I think business networking, like you mentioned, is the key, and AI is a whole separate discussion. But business owners have particular needs in terms of, let's say, they have a partnership. And I won't go into the details. We also want to address the financial areas that they may be lacking protection as a small business owner. And so, yes, we definitely want to address that.
Well, you're focusing on follow-up because, guys, your fortune and your future is in the follow-up. If you go to networking meetings, it's a nice ritual, and you're with friendly people. But if you're not following up, you might as well do something else because nothing's going to happen without follow-up. A terrible thing happens, nothing. So you've got to follow up. That's why we are launching the AI Broadcast Follow-Up Network to help people learn to follow up. And we're going to talk with Ron about what he's learning about follow-up, and we're going to have a lot of experts. And we're really going to motivate you with YouTube and listening to how to develop your own podcast on YouTube to help you to follow up. So anything else you want to share with us right now, Ron, to help people stay motivated and keep walking?
Yes, absolutely, Mike. Thanks for asking. And especially when it comes to walking, one of the reasons it's to have, let's say, some type of tracker. It could be a Fitbit, it could be an Apple Watch. Is there's a difference between strolling and walking, and let's say power walking. So the idea is you want to monitor your heartbeat. Because if you're just strolling along, just casually, that's better than just sitting in front of a computer. But at the same time, to maximize the benefits, let's say you go walking for 15 minutes. As you increase your heart rate, you can still walk and talk. In fact, you want to walk at a pace where you can still have a conversation. You don't want to walk so fast that you're running out of breath. But that increases, your blood activity, and it actually increases the health benefits of being outside. You can visualize walking. Let's say you're walking through a park or on a hiking trail, and you want to increase your pace, and that increases the benefits of the time that you're investing in your walking.
Okay, now that's part of being a peak performer, and that's great advice. I know Ron is a peak performer in service to his clients. He follows up, and he really takes care of them because he learns about communication and how best to be a peak performer. Now, when I say peak performer, what that means to me is to be a peak performer yourself. It's all about you. It's not about anybody else. It's about you. It's not about, we've all lost things in our lives. So it's not about what you've lost. It's about what you have left and how you can become the best you that you can possibly be with what you have as a peak performer. I care a lot about being a peak performer myself and in my mental health, my physical health, my spiritual health, and yes, my monetary health, because that's part of living in America. You've got to take care of your monetary health as well. So Ron is a peak performer when it comes to customer service. Great tip for being a peak performer walker. And we want to help you to have tips. And no matter what age, it's all about cross-group networking, cross-age group networking. So Ron Horry, thanks for joining us on our walk today. And we hope you will join us again. Now, remember, we're going to continue with more because we want you to keep walking. Okay, keep on walking. So we want you to keep walking. We're going to continue with more, but remember to check under this video. Go to AI Business Networking. If you try to remember that, if you have no notes or anything, just remember AI Business Networking, simple. And you'll be able to connect the dots like Steve Jobs says. You can't connect the dots forward. You have to connect the dots backward from experience. And you'll be able to connect the dots with wisdom with Ron Horry. So check out the links below, connect the dots. Ron, thanks for listening. We're going to continue walking and sharing more valuable information here on the AI Super Campus. And Ron's going to be a featured speaker on the AI Super Campus. So stay with us. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Mike. Keep walking and stay healthy.
Keep listening.
Keep listening. Keep walking and keep listening.
There you go. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.